Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going straight into the complete priest build in WoW Adventure. This is the only support class in the series I've covered so far, and if you're looking for a class that is easy to get into but still has a lot of depth to optimize, then priest is definitely a class you should pay attention to. So let's break it down in detail right now. First, let's talk about the class overview. Priest is a ranged support and team healer focused on group healing and a unique mechanic called life connection, which I'll explain in detail later. This is a class that I would consider suitable for both new players and F2P players because the healer role is always needed in every team, and you don't need to invest too much to get good value out of it. For class Aura, Priest increases energy recovery speed by 25% for the entire team, and this number increases to 50% when there is only one Priest in the team. This is a pretty unique type of Aura because it doesn't directly buff damage or defense, but instead increases energy recovery speed, allowing the entire team to use their skills more frequently, which indirectly increases the team's overall damage output and survivability. Now let's get into the build selection. If you're an F2P or new player, the recommended build is Attack Penetration, which is suitable for high defense bosses and regular team content. The priority stats are Penetration, Attack Bonus, and Damage Bonus, and you should only start investing more into damage after making sure your healing is already sufficient for the team. If you're aiming for healing, Lantern, and late game climbing damage, then Attack Crit will be more suitable, prioritizing crit, attack bonus, and damage bonus first, and then adding penetration or hit rating afterward. The main thing I want to emphasize here is that regardless of which build you choose, Priest's core role is still healing. Damage should only be a secondary goal after you have made sure that you have enough healing to support your team. For skills, Priest has two completely different branches in terms of flavor, Light Priest and Dark Priest, and this is something I find quite interesting because the previous classes only had differences in their stat builds, while Priest has a much clearer split in skill style. Light Priest will use the core set of Enhanced Spike, Group Heal, Holy Collapse, and Afterglow. Dark Priest will use Enhanced Spike, Dark Dream, Vampiric Touch, and Revelation. The general rule when playing Priest, regardless of which branch you choose, is that you should prioritize stable healing for the team first, and only then focus on increasing your damage for ranking or climbing. Going into the details of each skill so you can understand the mechanics. Enhanced Spike is the basic skill shared by both branches, with a 1-second cooldown. Every third attack will be replaced by Mind Shatter, dealing higher damage with a damage rate of 364% and healing with a healing rate of 65%. This is the core skill that both deals damage and maintains continuous healing even while you're going through your basic combo. For the Light Priest branch, Group Heal is the core skill with a 3.65-second cooldown. It releases a stronger beam of light, dealing 735% damage and healing with a healing rate of 174%. This is clearly the main skill, with both damage and healing values being extremely high. Holy Collapse is the tactical skill, with a 7.8-second cooldown. After the energy wave expands to its maximum range, it returns to its starting point and applies all of its effects again, meaning you essentially get almost double the effect from a single cast, making it very efficient in terms of energy. Afterglow is the ultimate skill with a 15.75-second cooldown, increasing the number of Holy Light instances to up to 20 times. This is an extremely powerful AoE healing and damage skill when you need to save the entire team in an emergency situation. For the Dark Priest branch, Dark Dream has a 4.3-second cooldown. A Void Butterfly appears in the area, dealing 22% damage, while also enhancing the healing effect with a healing rate of 52% and reducing the attack power of enemies within the area. This is a skill that can both support the team and debuff enemies, making it quite versatile. Vampiric Touch has a 13-second cooldown, continuously draining health from nearby enemies with a damage rate of 38%, while also releasing multiple waves of healing energy bolts to heal the entire team with a healing rate of 34%. This is a very strong sustained skill for long fights. And Revelation has a 21-second cooldown, changing to create multiple Old God statues scattered around the area. Based on the original description from Void Legacy, these statues will continuously heal nearby allies and deal damage to enemies. Creating multiple scattered statues allows the effect to cover a much wider area compared to having only a single statue. For pets, this is a pretty diverse part of Priest because there are several options depending on the content. For Abyss, Expedition, and Lantern, you should use Lady, Morning Glory, or Spirit combined with Light Howl. For a basic Secret Realm setup, use Morning Glory or Lady combined with Light Howl. And if you encounter a stage with a large number of enemies at the same time, you can temporarily switch to Meteor or Flame Demon to increase your damage against groups of enemies. Going into the details of each healing pet so you can choose more easily. Lady has the skill Pink Pilgrimage with a 3-second cooldown and a cost of 60 energy. It heals the ally with the lowest HP 10 times with a healing rate of 134.23%, while also restoring 5 energy to yourself. This is a very stable healing skill with a high frequency, while also helping you maintain your energy more efficiently. Morning Glory has the skill Springtide with a 3-second cooldown and a cost of 60 energy. It heals the ally with the lowest HP with an extremely high healing rate of up to 319.64%. This is the highest healing rate I have seen among all the pets, making it extremely suitable when you need to save a critically injured teammate immediately. Spirit has the skill Fox Breath with a 3-second cooldown and a cost of 60 energy. It applies a healing buff to the 3 members with the lowest HP in the team, restoring HP every second with a healing rate of 263.93% for 5 seconds. This buff does not stack and only refreshes its duration, making it a good choice when you need to heal multiple teammates instead of focusing on just one person. For Meteor and Flame Demon when switching to a damage setup, Meteor has the skill Reality Collapse with a 3-second cooldown and a cost of 60 energy. It deals 6 instances of damage within a 2.5 meter range with a damage rate of 784.78%. If it crits, it adds another instance with a damage rate of 978.77% with a maximum of 2 triggers, and when carried by a ranged profession like Priest, it will release in ranged form. Flame Demon has the skill Flames Purify All with a 3-second cooldown and a cost of 60 energy. It creates a firestorm within a 6.5 meter range, dealing 10 consecutive instances of damage with a damage rate of 305.45%. This is a good option for multi-enemy stages, as mentioned earlier in the build. Now we get to what I think is the most important and unique part of Priest, the specialization called Life Connection. This mechanic is quite complicated, so I'll explain it step by step. When combat starts, every 10 seconds, Priest will attempt to create a life connection with the ally who has the highest max HP in the team. This increases the healing effectiveness of your skills on that target by 6%. The connection will remain active continuously, but it will be broken if the target moves too far away from you, and when the connection is broken, both sides lose 20% of their max HP. This is a pretty heavy price, so you need to be extremely careful with your positioning. Each player can only be connected to one priest at a time, except in League Trial, where this rule does not apply. For the upgrade path, versatility allows you to link additional targets if the current target is already linked, up to 1 to 3 additional targets depending on the upgrade level. This skill allows you to expand the protection of Life Connection to more team members instead of just one person. Link Enhancement increases the healing effectiveness on linked targets by 2%, up to a maximum of 10%, depending on the upgrade level. This is the skill that directly enhances the effectiveness of the Life Connection mechanic. For Badge, you should equip stats that fit the role of the class, including attack, crit, penetration, and hit rating, similar to the other damage classes, even though Priest has a support-oriented role. Finally, let's get into the practical tips that I think are extremely important for Priest. For positioning and connection, Life Connection requires you to stay within a reasonable range of your teammates, so don't move too far away and break the connection. As I mentioned above, breaking the connection will cause both you and your teammate to lose 20% of your max HP, which is a very heavy price in difficult fights. So the general rule is to make sure you have enough healing coverage before focusing on damage. For auction/accessories, basic short-term gear is enough, so don't overbid on the auction. Prioritize getting accessories from the first-time Abyss Clear, assistance coins, or buying them at a reasonable price. And remember that the assistance coin cap is 1.5k. For your build, absolutely do not mix stats, gems, or refinement between the attack penetration and attack crit builds. And if you feel that your priest lacks damage for climbing in the later stages, add more damage bonus and penetration. To sum everything up, Priest is an extremely versatile support class in WoW Adventure, with a clear split between Light Priest, which focuses on stable healing, and Dark Priest, which focuses on sustain combined with light damage. The life connection mechanic is the biggest difference that makes Priest require much more attention to positioning compared to other classes. If you are new to the game, attack penetration with Morning Glory is a safe starting point to ensure stable healing, while once you get used to the class, you can gradually switch to attack crit to both heal and contribute damage to the team. That's all for today's video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to leave a like to support the channel, and I'll see you in the next WoW Adventure analysis video.